All right, love. Let me tell you something that most blokes completely miss, and it's honestly adorable how clueless you lot can be about this. Every woman, and I mean every single one of us, needs to feel emotionally safe with you. And no, babe, I'm not talking about your muscles or your bank account, though those are nice bonuses, aren't they? What I'm actually on about is this. She needs to know that when she's having a proper meltdown about something that seems tiny to you, or when she's showing you the messy, complicated, slightly mental parts of herself that she usually hides from the world, you're not going to judge her or make her so. Feel stupid or run for the hills screaming, yeah? She wants to be able to cry without you panicking, to tell you her fears without you thinking she's weak, to show you her insecurities without you using them against her later in an argument. And here's where most of you gorgeous idiots get it wrong, right? You think being emotionally safe means you have to fix everything, become her therapist, solve all her problems like you're some kind of superhero. But honestly, darling, sometimes she just wants you to sit there, look at her like she matters and say, "That sounds really difficult," without trying to mansplain her own feelings back to her. You know what I mean? When you create that kind of space where she can be completely herself, mascara running down her face, crying about something that happened at work or with her mum, and you just hold that space without making it weird or trying to rush her through it. That's when she starts to feel like she can actually trust you with the real her, not just the pretty, put-together version she shows on Instagram. And trust me, babe, once a woman feels genuinely safe with you emotionally, she'll move mountains to keep you in her life because that kind of man is rarer than a bloody unicorn in it. So tell me, gorgeous, have you ever actually made a woman feel this safe, or were you too busy trying to fix her? Drop a comment. I'm curious. Right. Now listen carefully because this next bit is absolutely crucial and most men get it completely wrong. You need to make her feel desired, not just loved. And yeah, I know you're probably thinking, what's the bloody difference? But oh darling, there's a massive difference. And it's the difference between her ripping your clothes off and her seeing you as her best mate who occasionally gets a shag. All right? Love is comfortable. It's safe. It's bringing her tea in bed and remembering her mom's birthday and all that sweet stuff that makes her go, "Aw, he's lovely." But desire, oh, that's something else entirely, babe. That's you looking at her across the room like you want to devour her. That's you grabbing her waist when she walks past like you physically can't help yourself. That's you whispering something absolutely filthy in her ear at her nan's birthday party that makes her blush and squeeze her thighs together. You getting me? The tragedy is that so many relationships die because you lot stop desiring us. You still love us, you're still nice to us, you still think we're great, but that spark, that hunger, that raw sexual energy just completely disappears, and suddenly you're treating her like your sister, who you occasionally cuddle. And let me tell you something, honey, nothing dries up a woman's knickers faster than feeling like you don't actually want her anymore, like you're just going through the motions, because that's what boyfriends are supposed to do. So here's what you need to do. Sweetheart, look at her like it's the first time you're seeing her naked. Even if you've been together 10 years, touch her with intention, not just habit. Send her a text in the middle of the day that makes it very clear you're thinking about her in ways that definitely aren't appropriate for work. Make her feel like even though you have her, you still want her, you still crave her, you're still genuinely attracted to her and not just fond of her, because there's nothing sadder than a woman who feels loved but not desired. And there's nothing more powerful than a woman who knows her man still looks at her like she's the sexiest thing he's ever seen, yeah? So come on then. When's the last time you made her feel genuinely desired? And I don't mean a lazy, you look nice. I mean properly desired. Think about it, love. Third one coming at you now, and this might sting a bit, but you need to hear it. She absolutely needs you to have a purpose in your life that exists completely outside of her. And I know that sounds counterintuitive because you've been told that romance means making her your whole world. But honestly, babe, nothing kills attraction faster than a man who makes a woman his entire reason for existing. It's suffocating and frankly a bit pathetic if I'm being totally honest with you. Women are magnetically drawn to men who are going somewhere, who have ambitions, who have dreams and goals and projects that light them up inside, who have a mission that's bigger than just be with her and make her happy. Because here's the thing, gorgeous. When you drop everything for her, when you cancel your mates every time she calls, when you abandon your hobbies and your goals just to be available for her 24/7, you think you're being romantic, but what she actually sees is a man with no backbone, no direction, no life of his own. And that is the opposite of sexy, innit? She wants to be part of your journey. not the entire destination. She wants to watch you chase your dreams and feel proud to be standing next to a man who's actually doing something with his life. She wants to miss you sometimes because you're out there building something or pursuing something that matters to you. She wants to feel like she's with a complete human being who would be absolutely fine without her, but chooses to have her in his life anyway. Not someone who needs her to function like some kind of emotional life support system. So please, darling, for the love of God, have something going on in your life. Whether it's building a business, or mastering a skill, or training for something, or creating art, or literally anything that gives your life meaning beyond just girlfriend maintenance duty. Because when you have purpose, when you're passionate about something, when you're moving forward in life with or without her, that's when she can't help but want to come along for the ride. And that's when she respects you enough to actually stay. You feel me? Quick one for you. What's your purpose? Right now, what are you building that's bigger than just getting a girlfriend? Drop it below. Let's see if you've got this sorted or if you're currently being that suffocating guy. All right, babe. Number 4, and this is where it gets spicy. She needs to feel sexual tension with you constantly, not just when you're trying to get her into bed. And this is where about 90% of you gorgeous Muppets completely balls it up because you think sexual tension only matters during foreplay. But no, darling. Sexual tension should be simmering between you two. Basically all the bloody time. Like this delicious undercurrent of, I know exactly what we're both thinking about, and it's definitely not appropriate right now. Energy, yeah? It's that look you give her that lasts just a beat too long. It's your hand on the small of her back that's just a bit too possessive. It's leaning in close to whisper something in her ear when you could have just said it normally. It's that cheeky comment with a double meaning that makes her cheeks flush and her mind go exactly where you wanted it to go. The problem is most men are so bloody predictable that there's zero tension at all. She knows exactly when you're gonna kiss her, exactly when you're gonna try to initiate sex, exactly what moves you're gonna make, and predictability is the death of desire, babe. It just is. So here's what you need to understand. Sweetheart, sexual tension comes from anticipation, from not giving her everything all at once, from building it up and then pulling back, from making her wonder, is he gonna kiss me? Now? Is he thinking what I'm thinking? What's he going to do next? It's about creating that delicious uncertainty that keeps her mind on you even when you're not around. So stop being so obvious. Stop following the same tired script every single time. Learn to create tension and then hold it instead of releasing it immediately like some overeager puppy. Touch her and then pull away before she expects you to. Kiss her deeply and then just stop and smile at her like you know exactly what you're doing to her. Send her a text that gets her all worked up, and then don't mention it again for hours. Make her anticipate you. Make her crave the next touch, the next kiss, the next moment. Because a woman who's in a constant state of low-level sexual anticipation with you is a woman who's absolutely addicted to you, innit? Tell me honestly, love, are you creating sexual tension, or are you just being predictable and boring? Because there's a massive difference, and she definitely knows which one you are. Number 5 is so simple, but so many of you get it wrong, it's actually mental. She needs to be heard, like properly heard, not just, you're standing there in silence while she talks. Heard. I'm talking about genuinely listening to her in a way that makes her feel like what she's saying actually matters to you. And no, babe, this doesn't mean you need to agree with everything or become her yes man. It means you need to be present when she's speaking. You need to actually pay attention to the emotions behind her words, not just the literal words themselves. You need to ask questions that show you're engaged. You need to make her feel understood, even if you don't have all the answers. Yeah? Here's where most of you mess this up, darling. She starts telling you about her day, or about something that's bothering her, and you're either already thinking about how to fix it, or you're waiting for your turn to talk, or you're half listening while scrolling through your phone, or you're thinking about football, or what you're having for dinner. And she can tell. Women can. Always tell when you're not really there. We've got this built-in bullshit detector that's frankly terrifying in its accuracy. And here's the thing. Gorgeous. 90% of the time, she doesn't even want you to fix the bloody problem. She just wants to feel like you give enough of a damn to actually listen and understand what she's going through. So put your phone down. Look at her properly. Make eye contact. Repeat back what she said in your own words to show you actually understood it. Validate her feelings even if they seem irrational to you. Because feelings aren't meant to be rational, babe. They're meant to be felt. And for God's sake, stop trying to logic her out of her emotions or tell her she shouldn't feel that way. Just listen. Really, truly listen. And you'll be amazed at how much deeper your connection becomes when she feels like you actually see her and hear her as a complete person, not just as background noise in your life. You know what I mean? So here's my question for you, sweetness. When's the last time you properly listened to a woman without trying to fix her or waiting for your turn to talk? Be honest now. Right. Number 6 is gonna mess with your head a bit because it goes against everything you've been taught about relationships. She needs to feel like you're a challenge, like you're not just some easy win that she's already completely figured out and conquered. And I can already hear some of you going, but I thought women wanted men who are available and attentive. And yes, babe, we do. But there's a massive difference between being attentive and being a desperado who has absolutely no standards or boundaries or life of his own in it. Men who are too easy, too available, too eager to please, too quick to say yes to everything, too willing to drop everything and rearrange their entire existence around her schedule. They don't create attraction, they create boredom. And I know that sounds harsh, darling, but it's the truth. When you're too easy to get and too easy to keep, she stops valuing you because humans only value what they have to work for. It's basic psychology love. So being a challenge doesn't mean being a dick or playing stupid mind games or ignoring her texts for 3 days to seem busy. That's childish nonsense. Being a challenge means having your own standards and actually sticking to them. It means having boundaries and not being afraid to enforce them. It means being willing to say no when something doesn't align with what you want. It means having your own life and your own priorities that don't automatically get shoved aside the second she clicks her fingers. It means she has to earn your time and attention and commitment, just like you have to earn hers. Because when you're too available, when you have no other priorities, when you never disagree or push back, when you're just this shapeless blob that molds itself to whatever she wants, you're not a partner, babe. You're a pet. And women don't shag their pets, do they? She wants a man she has to choose every day, not a man who's just there by default because he's got nowhere else to be. So maintain your value. Gorgeous. Have standards, have boundaries, have a life. Be someone she wants to impress and keep working for, not someone she's already completely figured out and filed away in the safe and boring category of her brain. Yeah? Quick reality check. Are you a challenge or are you just available whenever she wants you? Think carefully, babe, because she's already got her answer. Number 7 is absolutely crucial, and it's gonna be controversial, but I don't care because it's the truth. She needs masculine leadership from you. And before all the comments start flying, let me be very clear about what I mean, because I'm not talking about being controlling or domineering or treating her like she's incapable of making decisions. I'm talking about you being decisive, having direction, taking responsibility, and not being scared to actually lead sometimes. All right? She doesn't want to be with a man who responds to, "Where should we eat?" with, "I don't know, where do you want to go?" every single bloody time. She doesn't want a man who can't make a decision without polling everyone in the room first. She doesn't want a man who's so terrified of having an opinion that he just goes along with whatever everyone else wants, like some kind of human doormat. She wants a man who says, "We're going here," with confidence, who makes decisions without second-guessing himself into paralysis, who can take charge of a situation when needed, who has the balls to have an opinion and stick to it. And yes, babe, she can disagree with you, she can have her own opinions, she can challenge your decisions. That's all part of healthy communication, innit? But she wants to see that you're capable of actually leading, of taking initiative, of being decisive, instead of being this wishy-washy, whatever you think, babe person who's basically abdicating all responsibility for the direction of the relationship. Because here's what you need to understand, darling. Leadership isn't about control. It's about taking ownership. It's about being the kind of man who steps up when things get difficult, instead of hiding behind her or expecting her to figure everything out. It's about making her feel like she can relax into her feminine energy because she trusts that you've got things handled in your masculine energy. And that dance between masculine and feminine is where the real magic happens in relationships. So stop being afraid to lead. Stop thinking that being agreeable about everything makes you a good partner. Have some bloody direction in your life. Make decisions. Take charge when it's appropriate. And watch how much more she respects and desires you when she can feel that solid masculine presence instead of just another person who needs her to tell them what to do all the time, you feel me? All right, gorgeous, honest moment. Are you leading or are you just following her around hoping she'll tell you what to do? Comment below. No judgment. Well, maybe a little bit of judgment. Number 8 is absolutely delicious and it's all about keeping things interesting. She needs positive emotional unpredictability from you, which basically means you can't be the same boring bloke doing the same boring things, saying the same boring stuff every single day, because, darling, routine is the death of passion, and predictability is the death of desire. And I know you lot love your routines and your systems and knowing exactly what's happening when. But honestly, babe, if she can predict everything you're gonna say and do, if every day is exactly the same as the last, if your texts are identical, if your conversations follow the same script, if there are 0 surprises, she's gonna get bored. And a bored woman is a woman who starts looking elsewhere for excitement, even if she doesn't mean to. Yeah? Now, I'm not saying you need to be some chaotic lunatic who's different every day. I'm talking about positive surprises, little unexpected moments that make her go, "Oh, I didn't see that coming," in the best possible way. It's sending her a voice note in the middle of the day just because you were thinking about her, when normally you'd just text. It's grabbing her hand and taking her somewhere she's never been, instead of going to the same restaurant you always go to. It's complimenting something specific and unusual about her, instead of the generic, "You look nice." It's changing up how you kiss her or touch her or talk to her, so she never quite knows what version of you she's getting, because variety creates intrigue and intrigue creates desire in it. Small variations make a massive difference, gorgeous. You don't need grand gestures or expensive surprises. You just need to break the pattern occasionally. Keep her guessing a little bit. Show her different sides of yourself. Be spontaneous sometimes. Do something she doesn't expect, because when she can predict every single thing about you, when there are 0 surprises left, when she's completely figured you out, that's when the relationship becomes comfortable but passionless. And comfortable is nice for your nan, but it's not what keeps a woman absolutely obsessed with you. So mix it up, babe. Keep her curious. Be unpredictable in positive ways, and watch how much more engaged and excited she becomes when she never quite knows what you're gonna do next. You know what I mean? Tell me, love, when's the last time you genuinely surprised her with something she didn't see coming? And no, showing up on time doesn't count. All right, we've reached number 9, and this one's the absolute game changer that I promised you. So pay attention, because this separates the boys from the men. She needs validation from you, but you absolutely cannot need validation from her in return. And I know that sounds like a contradiction, but stay with me, gorgeous, because this is where most relationships completely fall apart, right? Every woman wants to feel special, beautiful, appreciated, desired, valued. She wants you to notice her, compliment her, recognize her, make her feel like she matters to you. And yes, babe, you absolutely should be doing all of that. But here's the crucial bit that trips up 99% of men. You cannot be giving her validation because you're desperately hoping she'll validate you back. You can't be complimenting her while secretly keeping score of whether she compliments you. You can't be doing nice things whilst internally resenting that she doesn't seem to appreciate you enough, because that's not validation, love. That's neediness dressed up in a nice outfit, and women can smell neediness from a mile away, and it repels us faster than you can say, "Please tell me I'm attractive," in it. The man who's genuinely confident validates because he wants to, because he genuinely appreciates her, because making her feel good makes him feel good, not because he's trying to manipulate her into giving him the validation he's starving for. Insecure men compliment and then wait with puppy dog eyes for the compliment back. They do something nice and then sulk if she doesn't fall over herself thanking them. They constantly need reassurance and attention and praise to feel okay about themselves. And darling, that is exhausting for a woman, because suddenly she's not just your girlfriend. She's your emotional support system, your validation dispenser, your self-esteem manager. And that's not sexy. That's just another bloody job. So, here's what you need to understand, sweetheart. When you stop needing her validation, when you're so secure in yourself that you can give without keeping score, when you can compliment her without expecting anything back, when you can make her feel amazing just because you want to, not because you need her to do the same for you, that's when she starts chasing your validation, because suddenly you're the man who's complete without her, but chooses to share his abundance with her. And that, babe, that is absolutely irresistible. So sort out your own self-worth. Stop looking to her to make you feel like a man, and watch what happens when you can genuinely give without needing to receive. Yeah? Right then, gorgeous. Be brutally honest. Are you validating her genuinely, or are you secretly just trying to get validation back? The truth now. Number 10 is simple, but so powerful that most of you completely miss it. She needs your total presence when you're with her. And no, darling, I don't mean just being physically in the same room whilst your brain is on another planet. I mean actually being there, fully engaged, completely focused on her, not half-arsing it while scrolling through Instagram or thinking about work or planning what you're gonna say next. Because, babe, women have this absolutely terrifying ability to sense when you're not really present, even if you're sitting right next to us. It's like a superpower we all have, and you cannot fake your way through it no matter how hard you try, innit? The thing is gorgeous. You lot think that quantity of time matters more than quality, so you'll spend hours sitting on the sofa next to her whilst being mentally checked out, phone in hand, half watching telly, responding with, and yeah, babe, without actually hearing a word she's saying. And then you wonder why she says you never spend time with her when you're literally together all the time. It's because you're not present, love. You're just occupying the same physical space, and that doesn't count for shit in her mind. What counts is those moments when you put your phone down, look at her properly, give her your full attention, actually listen to what she's saying, engage with her like she's the most interesting person in the room. Make her feel like for these 20 minutes or an hour or whatever, she has all of you, not just the leftovers of your attention after everything else has taken its share.
Because honestly, babe, she would rather have 20 minutes of your complete, undivided, fully present attention than 5 hours of you sitting there like a zombie scrolling through your phone while she tries to talk to you about her day. Quality absolutely destroys quantity when it comes to presence, and a man who knows how to be fully present, who can put aside all distractions and just be with her, who makes her feel seen and heard and valued through his complete attention,
that man is worth 10 of the blokes who are physically there but mentally anywhere else. So put your bloody phone away. Stop thinking about other stuff. Be here with her when you're with her, and watch how much deeper and more connected your relationship becomes when she actually feels like she has you. Not just your body, you know what I mean. Quick question, babe. When's the last time you gave her your full attention without any distractions? Can you even remember? 11 is deep and it's gonna separate the real men from the boys who are just playing at relationships. She needs you to accept her shadows, all the dark, messy, complicated bits of herself that she usually hides from the world. And this is where you find out if you're actually ready for a real woman or if you just want some Instagram fantasy version. Yeah, every single person has shadows, darling. We've all got insecurities and fears and traumas and weird habits and bits of our personality that aren't pretty or convenient or easy to deal with, and most women spend their entire lives hiding these parts because we're terrified that if you see the real us, the messy, complicated, sometimes irrational, sometimes difficult us, you'll run for the hills or try to fix us. Or worse, use our vulnerabilities against us later when you're angry. Innit? So she tests you, babe. Oh, she absolutely tests you. She'll show you a little bit of her shadow to see what you do with it. Maybe she'll have an emotional moment that seems over the top. Maybe she'll admit to something she's ashamed of. Maybe she'll show you a side of herself that isn't the cool, confident woman you first met, and she's watching very carefully to see if you judge her, if you try to change her, if you make her feel bad about it, if you reject that part of her. And most men fail this test spectacularly because they either get uncomfortable and try to logic her out of her feelings, or they start trying to fix her like she's a broken toy that needs repairing, or they use it against her later by throwing it in her face during an argument. But the man who passes this test, the absolute king who gets it right, he doesn't judge, he doesn't try to fix, he just accepts. He looks at all of her, the light and the shadow, the pretty and the messy, and he says, without words, I see all of you and I'm not going anywhere. Because when you can accept her shadows without trying to change them, when you can hold space for her darkness without being scared of it or trying to illuminate it away, when you can love the whole complicated, beautiful, messy human being she is, instead of just the parts that are easy and convenient, that's when you create a loyalty so deep that no other man will ever be able to touch it, because you'll be the only person who's ever really seen her completely and stayed. You feel me? So tell me, love, can you handle a woman's shadows? Or do you just want the highlight reel? Think carefully because she'll find out either way. 12 is absolutely crucial, and it's about your energy, not hers. She needs your emotional stability, She needs to know that you're not gonna fall apart, or lose your shit, or become a different person every time something difficult happens. And no, babe, I'm not saying you need to be some emotionless robot who never feels anything. I'm saying you need to be the calm in the storm, the steady presence she can lean on when her own emotions are all over the place. Because, darling, if both of you are panicking or melting down or emotionally unstable at the same time, there's no anchor, there's no safe harbor, there's just two people drowning together, and that's not a relationship, that's a disaster, yeah? Women are naturally more emotionally expressive than men, generally speaking. We feel things deeply and intensely, and sometimes our emotions can be overwhelming even to us. And what we need in those moments isn't another emotional mess. We need someone who can stay grounded, who can handle our intensity without matching it, who can be solid when we're liquid, who can maintain their center when everything else is chaos. This is masculine energy at its core. Gorgeous. It's being the rock when the sea is rough. And I'm not saying you can't have emotions or that you need to suppress everything you feel. I'm saying you need to process your emotions in healthy ways, instead of exploding all over everyone or shutting down completely. You need to develop emotional control and emotional intelligence so that when shit hits the fan, you're not adding to the drama. You're containing it. You're the stable force that makes her feel like everything's going to be okay even when it doesn't feel like it. Because a woman who knows her man won't crumble under pressure, who trusts that he can handle difficult emotions without losing his mind, who feels like she can be emotionally volatile sometimes because he's stable enough for both of them. That woman feels safe in a way that creates unshakable trust and devotion. So work on your emotional stability, babe. Learn to stay calm under pressure. Develop the ability to feel your feelings without being controlled by them. Be the man she can count on to keep it together when everything else is falling apart, and you'll become irreplaceable in her life, innit? Honest moment. Are you emotionally stable? Or are you just as much of a mess as she is? Because she definitely knows the answer. And finally, gorgeous, number 13, the most counterintuitive, mind-bending one of them all that's gonna completely flip everything you thought you knew about relationships. She needs freedom within the connection. She needs to feel like she could leave at any moment and you'd be okay. Like she's choosing to be with you every single day. Not because she's trapped or obligated or scared of being alone, but because she genuinely wants to be. And I know this sounds absolutely mental because you've been taught that relationships are about holding on tight and making sure she never leaves. But babe, the tighter you grip, the more she wants to escape. It's just human. Nature, innit? Insecure men try to control everything. They need to know where she is all the time. They get jealous and possessive. They try to isolate her from her friends. They make her feel guilty for having a life outside the relationship. They basically try to put her in a cage made of their own neediness and fear. And honestly, darling, nothing makes a woman want to run faster than feeling trapped. Because the moment she feels like she has to be with you, like she's stuck, like leaving, isn't even an option, that's when resentment builds and attraction dies, and she starts fantasizing about escape, even if she never actually leaves. But the man who understands this, the absolute legend who gets it, he gives her freedom. He trusts her. He doesn't try to control or possess or cage her. He makes it very clear that she's free to go if she wants to, that the door is always open, that he wants her but doesn't need her, and paradoxically, that's what makes her want to stay. Because when a woman feels genuinely free, when she knows she's choosing you rather than being trapped by you, when she could walk away any time but keeps choosing not to, because being with you is just that good, that's when she's most loyal, most committed, most devoted, because it's her choice, her desire, her decision, not something being forced on her by your insecurity or neediness. So let her breathe, babe. Give her space. Trust her. Don't try to control every aspect of her life or the relationship. Make her feel like she's with you because she wants to be, not because she has to be. And you'll create something so much stronger than any cage ever could. Because freedom generates loyalty, whilst control generates rebellion. And the woman who stays because she's free to leave is the woman who'll never actually want to go. You know what I mean? Final question for you, darling. Are you giving her freedom or are you trying to trap her? And be honest, because your relationship depends on getting this right. Right then, gorgeous. There you have it. All 13 needs laid bare. Now tell me, which one hit you hardest? Which one made you realize you've been getting it completely wrong? Drop a comment and let's talk about it, babe. I'm genuinely curious what you think.